The floodlights at Old Trafford blaze like fire. In the roaring echo of thousands of fans, Mason Mount steps onto the pitch, not just as a young English player, but as a symbol of a new generation, disciplined, elegant, and endlessly ambitious. From a little boy in Portsmouth dreaming of wearing the Chelsea badge, Mason has risen to become one of England's brightest stars. A story of determination, growth, and the quiet confidence of luxury. Before earning one of the highest salaries at Manchester United, he had faced rejection, doubts about his physique, and criticism of his consistency. Yet, in those low moments, Mason Mount showed the world that talent means nothing without character, and his steel will set him apart. Today, Mason is more than a footballer. He's a living brand. A young gentleman with refined taste, a collection of luxury cars worth millions of pounds, a penthouse in central London, and partnerships with giants like Nike and Tag Heuer. Before we begin, I challenge you to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and select all, but you must do it within 5 seconds. If you succeed, leave a comment with the hashtag #LuxuryLeague. Now, let's dive into the world of Mason Mount, from a humble boy to England's million-pound gentleman.
For Mason Mount, success didn't arrive overnight. After more than a decade of training within Chelsea's academy, he transformed his skill and professionalism into a lucrative brand. As of 2025, Mason Mount's net worth is estimated at around £30 million, including salaries, bonuses, endorsements, and private investments. At Manchester United, Mason signed a 5-year contract worth £52.5 million, earning about £250,000 per week, more than £13 million annually. This puts him among the top-earning English players in the Premier League, alongside names like Jack Grealish and Marcus Rashford. But his wealth isn't just from football. Mount holds major endorsement deals with Nike, Tag Heuer, EA Sports, and Pepsi, which collectively bring in an additional £3 to £5 million per year. Beyond that, he's made smart investments in real estate and several London-based sports startups. From the days he lived on modest academy stipends at Cobham to now being a financial role model for young players, Mason embodies the idea of balanced success, where skill on the pitch meets financial intelligence. He knows that true wealth doesn't just come from goals scored, but from transforming fame into lasting value. Mason Mount is more than a footballer. He's a brand, a representative of a new English generation that knows how to balance skill, image, and social responsibility. Even during his early Chelsea years, Mason drew attention from major brands thanks to his good looks, confidence, and clean, scandal-free lifestyle. His first major partnership was with Nike, where he became an ambassador for the Mercurial line, a symbol of speed and sophistication. Later, he joined Tag Heuer, the Swiss watchmaker, synonymous with precision and prestige. In every campaign, Mount doesn't just sell products, he sells an attitude, discipline, style, and the optimism of modern success. Beyond endorsements, Mason Mount has also invested portions of his income into ventures outside of football. He's a minority shareholder in a London-based sports analytics startup developing real-time player performance software. Additionally, he has backed a premium streetwear fashion brand founded by close friends, celebrating the spirit of contemporary British elegance. What stands out is Mason's cautious investment philosophy. He focuses on industries he understands: sports, fashion, and technology. He once said in an interview, "I don't want to just make money as a footballer, I want to understand money and use it to create something lasting." That mindset has made Mason Mount one of the few young English players with a structured personal investment portfolio, both profitable and perfectly aligned with his polished brand image.
In a football world where many players spend impulsively, Mason Mount took a different route, investing in luxurious yet value-retaining real estate. His main residence is located in Cheshire, not far from Manchester United's Carrington training complex, a modern English country-style mansion valued at around £3.5 million. The home spans over 700 square meters, featuring a private garden, heated pool, European standard gym, and a personal cinema room. Inside, it's an elegant blend of cream and white tones with Italian marble, imported English oak, and contemporary art pieces. The wine cellar holds a selection of fine French vintages, each bottle a memory from his travels and matches abroad. In London, Mount still maintains a penthouse in Knightsbridge, worth nearly £2 million, overlooking Hyde Park. It serves as his base during brand shoots and meetings. The apartment radiates minimal luxury, with floor-to-ceiling glass, Armani Costa furniture, and natural light flooding every corner. Beyond personal use, Mason also invests in rental properties in Surrey, his hometown. According to English media, this portfolio generates around £250,000 per year in passive income, a clever and stable financial move. For Mason Mount, every property isn't just a home, it's a symbol of growth, reflecting his evolution from a small-town dreamer to a refined English gentleman who understands the art of living well and investing wisely.
If a career measures success, then Mason Mount's garage defines his taste for refinement and power. A lover of speed and precision, his car collection exceeds £2 million, blending performance with artistry and identity. First is the Range Rover SV Autobiography, a £150,000 British luxury SUV, Mount's everyday ride to training sessions. Then comes the Mercedes-AMG G63, priced around £180,000, combining prestige with raw athleticism. But his true pride sits in the form of a red Ferrari F8 Tributo, valued at £250,000, powered by a twin-turbo V8 delivering over 710 horsepower, his escape on open roads after grueling matches. His garage also includes a Porsche 911 Turbo S, £190,000, and an Aston Martin DB11, a self-gift after winning Chelsea's Player of the Year in 2021. Each car tells a story, marking a personal milestone in his evolution. Beyond cars, Mason Mount is an avid watch collector. His glass case showcases masterpieces such as Rolex Daytona Rainbow, over £400,000, adorned with vibrant sapphires, Audemare's Piguet Royal Oak Offshore, £80,000, bold and masculine, Patek Philippe Nautilus, £110,000, timeless and refined, Tag Heuer Carrera Sport, £6,000, a gift from his ambassador partnership, Richard Mille RM67-01, approximately £200,000, spotted on his wrist at elite events. Mason also expresses his style through luxury fashion, favoring Gucci, Dior, and Off-White. His wardrobe is understated yet deliberate. Classic knit jackets, crisp sneakers, and statement watches, the true aesthetic of a modern gentleman. For Mason Mount, luxury isn't about showing off. It's about the quiet confidence that speaks through every detail.
Behind the charming smile, elegant suits, and calm demeanor, Mason Mount is surprisingly private. He rarely shares details of his personal life, only glimpses from his travels or charity events. Despite living under the spotlight, Mason maintains a sanctuary of silence, a place where fame fades and peace begins. Following his breakup with longtime girlfriend Chloe Wellians Watts, Mason redirected his energy toward his career and self-growth. He often visits his family in Portsmouth, where his father, Tony Mount, a former semi-pro player and coach, shaped his early discipline and love for the game. Off the pitch, Mason enjoys music and photography. He plays piano and captures his journeys with a Leica M10 camera, a way to freeze time and hold on to moments untouched by fame. Mental well-being is another cornerstone of his life. Mason meditates every morning, reads before bed, and disconnects from social media during off days. Quote, "To perform at the top level, your mind must be calm before your feet move fast," end quote, he once said in an interview. Mason is also a quiet philanthropist. He donates regularly to children's cancer charities and supports the Together for Short Lives Foundation. No grand gestures, no cameras, just simple, heartfelt acts of kindness. At 26, Mason Mount represents the modern English footballer,
refined, introspective, grounded, and fully aware that true greatness begins with humility.
No success story exists without storms, and Mason Mount has faced his share. The year 2023 marked one of the most turbulent chapters of his career. His emotional departure from Chelsea, the club he had been with since he was 6 years old. To many Chelsea fans, the move felt like betrayal, and Mason found himself at the center of an online firestorm of criticism. At the same time, his early months at Manchester United were rocky. Injuries kept him sidelined for weeks, and critics questioned his worth. Headlines screamed, "Is he really worth £55 million?" Yet, instead of responding with words, Mason chose discipline and silence. He doubled down on training, fine-tuned his diet, and worked one-on-one with a personal performance coach. It was then that he proved what true class means, not scoring when the world cheers for you, but rising when the world doubts you. Few remember that Mason was once dismissed as too small to make it in the Premier League, but through relentless focus and sheer determination, he turned every doubt into fuel. By 2024, upon returning from injury, Mason began to shine again. Consistent performances, a national team recall, and public praise from Gareth Southgate, who called him the kind of player who never gives up. Perhaps it's in these darkest moments that Mason Mount discovered the strongest, truest version of himself.
Mason Mount's career stands as a blueprint for the modern footballer, resilient, intelligent, and quietly ambitious. From his early days at Chelsea's Cobham Academy, he impressed with his vision, creativity, and relentless pressing. At just 18, he was loaned to Vitesse Arnhem in the Netherlands, where he scored 14 goals and registered 10 assists in one season, a breakout year that announced his arrival on the European stage. Next came his time at Derby County under Frank Lampard, the mentor who would later shape his professional destiny. When Lampard took charge of Chelsea, Mason returned to the first team and instantly became the heart of Stamford Bridge's new era. The 2020-2021 season remains a golden chapter. Mason scored in the Champions League semi-final and played a decisive role in Chelsea's European triumph. He was later voted Chelsea's Player of the Season, ahead of club icons like N'Golo Kanté and Jorginho. Internationally, he has been a key figure for England, representing the nation at Euro 2020 and the 2022 World Cup. Despite his youth, Gareth Southgate described him as a complete player, one who reads the game as if he's been at the top for a decade. At Manchester United, despite a challenging start, Mason is gradually rediscovering his rhythm. He's not the loudest in the room, but his consistency, intelligence, and composure make him a prototype of the future English footballer. When people look back years from now, Mason Mount's story will not just be about goals and trophies. It will be about a young man who dreamed, persevered, and carved his own path in a world that never stops demanding more.
At 26, Mason Mount stands at a pivotal point in his career, a stage where proving his value on the pitch is no longer enough. Now, it's about defining the legacy he'll leave behind. After the ups and downs of his Manchester United chapter, Mason has matured, calmer, wiser, and more focused than ever on what comes next. He has openly spoken about his dream of one day becoming a coach, following in the footsteps of his mentor, Frank Lampard. For Mason, football is not just a job, it's a philosophy. He studies tactics, keeps notes on training sessions, and pays attention to leadership dynamics, the mindset of someone preparing for a lifelong relationship with the game. At the same time, he's expanding his personal brand through a venture called M10, a fusion of sport, fashion, and youth education. The project aims to inspire young athletes to pursue football with discipline, creativity, and purpose. Mason envisions himself as the embodiment of a modern gentleman, successful yet grounded, visible yet sincere. Off the pitch, he plans to invest in youth academies and school-based sports foundations, providing underprivileged children across England with access to professional training. Looking ahead, Mason Mount's ambitions stretch far beyond medals and matches. He wants to become a symbol of the new generation of players, those who build lasting value through passion, intelligence, and heart.
From a little boy in Portsmouth kicking a worn-out football on a muddy pitch, Mason Mount has risen to become one of the defining faces of modern English football. He's not the loud type. No scandals, no chaos, just discipline, elegance, and quiet strength. Today, Mason stands as more than a footballer. He represents a lifestyle, one built on hard work, smart investments, and unwavering identity. He reminds us that in a world where fame fades fast, only those who know their worth can endure. What makes Mason truly unique is the rare harmony between talent and character, between the brilliance of the spotlight and the peace within. A young gentleman who knows who he is and what legacy he wants to leave behind. And you, if given the chance to have fame, fortune, and influence like Mason Mount, what kind of person would you become? Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video if you believe that true success isn't built in the noise, but in the quiet moments of purpose and perseverance. See you in the next episode of Luxury League, where we uncover the stories of wealth, prestige, and legacy behind football's finest icons.